Today we're at Tennie's funeral, and some family members are helping pull her down towards the grave. And in a minute or two, the service is going to begin. There's several people who were able to come today, and they're all in this recording.
It's pine. It's pine.
Nomikoma tavo v'shalom. May Tennie go unto God, her place in peace. I will not die an unlived life. I will not die an unlived life. I will not live in fear of falling or catching fire. I choose to inhabit my days, to allow my living to open me, to make me less afraid, more accessible, to loosen my heart until it becomes a wing, a torch, a promise. I choose to risk my significance, to live so that which came to me as seed goes to the next as blossom, and that which came to me as blossom goes on as fruit. The Hebrew word for funeral is levaya, which means to accompany. And we are all here today to accompany Aunt Tennie, Norma Witkin, who has passed from this world. The daughter of Mary and Lou, sister of Rose, Sylvia, Jeanette, Seymour, Joseph, Marlene, and Irene, mother of Barbara, wife of Leonard, aunt and great aunt to so many, including those of you who are here today to honor and to remember her: Buzzy and Barry, Jack and Teresa, Helene and Fran, June, Spencer, Carla and Dan, Michelle and Stephen, Rachel and Colleen, Eddie, Karen, Randy, and a cousin to so many, including Carolyn and Robert and many others. So in our tradition in Judaism, to bury someone is the last gift that a person can give someone that they love. It's considered to be the chesed shel emet, like the greatest act of loving kindness, the greatest act of chesed, because it can never be reciprocated. So with the ancient words of Psalms and prayers, we link Tennie's life with the traditions of the Jewish people and with the eternal nature of the divine. I'm going to read and chant Psalm 23, and then we'll ask after that some members of the family and anyone who likes to share any memories that you want to share, any words that you want to share to help us remember her with love. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. God makes me to lie down in green pastures. God leads me beside the still waters. God restores my soul. God guides me in straight paths for God's name's sake. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me. Thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. Thou prepare a table before me in the presence of mine enemies. Thou hast anointed my head with oil. My cup runs over. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I shall dwell in the house of the Lord forever. Mizmor leDavid, Adonai roi lo echsar, Bihinoi tasheyar bitzeini, al mei menuchot yenachaleni, Nafshi yeshovev, Nafshi yeshovev, Yahancheni b'maglei tzedek leman shemo, Gam ki elech v'geit salmavet lo irara, ki ata imadi shiftecha umishantecha, shiftecha umishantecha, hema yenachamuni, taroch lefanai shulchan, taroch lefanai shulchan, taroch lefanai shulchan, neged sorerai, dishanta v'shemen roshi, dishanta v'shemen roshi, dishanta v'shemen roshi, kosi revaya, ach tov v'chesed yirdefuni, kol yemei chayai, v'shavti beveit Adonai, v'shavti beveit Adonai, le'orech yamim. We're now going to hear words to celebrate Tennie's life and to honor her memory. Yeah, okay.
I'm going to bring the chair over.
Yeah.
When you're ready.
Okay. Yeah, you want to speak first? Okay, so yes is going to speak first about your sister.
I want to thank all of you. The matriarch of our Rosenberg family, and the mantle has been passed to me. I just turned 91, and I'm so happy to see all of you here together honoring my sister. She was the big boss over me. She was she used to be my protector. In the neighborhood, some of the kids started beating me up, and she says, "I'm gonna fix you. You leave my Yossi alone." So I really loved Tennie. We were able to go and visit her in New Jersey. Not New Jersey, here. Come down from New Jersey, excuse me. And had a few years of stopping and visiting her. And she was all there the whole time. She just recently had a problem. And she left us. And I miss her so. We were going to come down now to see her, and they said she passed away. Now, Tennie also was very sick for a while. She was very, very sick for a while, and she recovered, and she's stayed with us a number of years, and we're so happy we were able to see her. And I know you all love Tennie. Norma, that's her name. And I don't know what else to say.
Okay, that's great.
Canoe. Enough.
Just making sure of social distance, okay? So it's with a lot of sadness that I say a few words about Tennie today. I just actually heard an interesting statement the other day saying that when somebody passes, there's such a heartfelt loss, and at the same time, the reason why we feel that loss is because they were so important to us. And for all of us, I think we all had that experience. You know, I was fortunate to have 6 aunts and 2 uncles that were siblings of my dad. And I loved them all, but I have to say that Tennie was the funniest, most active one out of everybody. You know, whenever you saw her, she was always bubbling. She always wanted to know everything that you were doing, and the other aunts and uncles did too, but she was kind of exceptional in that way. And you know, she had her sisters living on the block with her, as well as Carolyn's mother Frida living across the street, and Jeanette living a couple blocks away. And as a kid, I also remember when I must have been about 12, she took me out to Indian Springs Country Club. And I had just played a little bit of golf, and she took me out on the course. And I had surgery on my fingers. I could barely swing a club. And she made such a big deal of me playing golf with her. It's something that we talked about every time we got together. She was just tremendous. And at about 88, she arranged for my wife, Jamie, and I to go to a golf course of her friends. And they rode around in the cart, and we played golf. So that's just the way Tennie was. So besides those short memories, I just wanted to share with you, I picked up a little bit of the family genealogy role for all of us. And sometimes you get little missives from me, but we weren't sure what Tennie's name was. And Tennie, even on legal documents, was sometimes Ann Witkin, Anna Witkin, Anna Norma Witkin, but I think her legal name was Anna Norma Witkin. And as best we can tell, her Hebrew name would have been Hannah, which I was able to share with the rabbi. There wasn't anybody really to ask except for my dad and maybe Hashi, if she would have known. And I also had a little bit of surprise that I wanted to know what the Hebrew name was for her father and mother. And my dad and I have been on a quest to try and find out all the siblings' grandfather's burial place, which is down in Anacostia. And you wouldn't believe what a challenge this is to do. But Tennie's Hebrew name was Hannah Bat Leib for Louis, Marta, which was for Mary. I never knew Mary's name was Marta. So it was kind of a surprise and a little gift to find out a little bit more about the family. So anyway, I'm not going to take any more of your time, but I'm sure she would be so happy that so many of us were able to come today and share this time together. Okay, so I'm going to continue to do some recording of anyone else. Like I think Carl is going to go up next, and Helene, you're up. Okay. Well, that's just because I'm so handsome.
Right, exactly. So I'm going to be very brief and
tell one little story, which won't mean anything to anybody but me, probably. So as Buzz said, Antini was effusive, enthusiastic, just a pistol-packing mama, in my opinion. And because we lived near each other for so long, she was my second home, because Barbara and I were so close. And we were so close that Antini, with all her creativity, and she was very creative in her day, made a Halloween costume for us when we lived on Oglethorpe Street. And it was a cat costume. And it was black up head to toe, covered everything with a tail that was stuffed. And one year, Barbara got to wear it, and the next year, I got to wear it. And we kept trading on and off for a long time until we realized it was time to retire the cat costume. And we also did a lot of destruction in the house on Oglethorpe Street, including having tea parties with Teeny's best tablecloth on the floor, getting stains on it, and another accident which I will not reveal. But anyway, she was quite a lady and unpredictable in many ways, and both good and bad. And so I have very good memories of her, and I hope that she joins up with Lenny and Barbara soon.
I just want to add one thing to Helene. I think that I might have inherited that black cat costume because I was a black cat for Halloween for many years.
Well, Antini certainly was a lady and an artistic one. And she was born a year after Calvin Coolidge took office in 1925. And by my count, she lived through 17 presidents. Buzzy can check me with his political science background. And we lived in the same apartment building in Otis Gardens. She told me the last time she lived on the 8th floor. Unfortunately, it didn't have 8 floors. I think it had 4 floors, and we lived on the 4th floor. And Murray lived on the 1st floor. Then we moved to Oglethorpe Street. She lived across the street from us. On Oglethorpe Street, on the same block, 2 sides, we had 21 relatives. A lot of people haven't ever counted that, but I counted it. It's pretty amazing. And then we moved to Lowender Lane, and she lived down the street from us. And she was, I remember, very artistic. I think she made a costume for me when I was in college, and I went to the Halloween party as Sir Cohen-Lot. And I won first prize with my date, who was Queen Guinevere. So I do remember that, and I'm pretty sure she made that costume. And she will sorely be missed. Wonderful memories of her and her sisters and brothers. God bless you, Antini.
Does anybody else like to say anything? I will. I had to write it down though. All right. So I'm one of the younger cousins. So I really got to know Antini closely these past dozen years after Barbara passed away. But these are some of the things that would always make me smile when I think about her. She always knew the exact directions to everywhere we went. And she made sure she let me know as I drove around. Turn here, go left. I mean, constantly. And Aunt Rose did that too, by the way. Even the past couple years, when she claimed she couldn't see very well, if we were driving and the light turned green, she'd say, go. And before she sold her car, she loved to drive. Even if she was having trouble walking, she still wanted to drive. And she wanted to drive all of her friends. All of her older friends would pile in her car, and she would take them all out to dinner. She was the designated driver. She loved getting her pizza every Monday on half-price pizza night when she moved to assisted living, and I took her to get her hair done. It was always followed by a pizza lunch cheese with tomato on top. And she was very independent, not moving into assisted living until she was 94. She loved to hear about the family and look at all the pictures that everyone sent me. And she had a ton of clothes, shoes, purses. Everything was perfectly coordinated. And that red door perfume. Tennie was a great friend to many, a wonderful wife, mother, sister, and aunt. She was generous, loving, and caring. She never got over Barbara's death and talked about her all the time. I hope she is with her beloved Barbara and Len now. She was a special lady, and she will be remembered and missed. And thank you all for being here.
May I say something?
Yes, you may, Barry.
I remember Aunt Tennie and I used to have dinner together. I used to drive down to see Tennie, and one time I stayed with Tennie, and Irene was in town, and we all went out, and we got me, my father, my mother. We used to drive down. We used to have dinner at the hot shop. We used to have good times together, and that's all I can say.
Is there anyone else who would like to speak? Well, you've just given her so much honor just by remembering her with your love and your kindness, just as you loved her and took care of her in her life. Master of the universe, creator of heaven, earth, humanity, and all being, be gracious to your children who mourn. May the light of your presence dispel the gloom of absence so keenly felt on this day. Bless them with your compassion, empower them with your love, touch them with the fullness of your heart, that they may be granted inner peace. We say Amen. I'm going to recite the El Malei Rachamim, the memorial prayer, first in English and then in Hebrew. And I invite folks to call yourself to attention. So if it's easy to do, you could physically stand, or if you want to stay seated and just call yourself to attention, you can do that as well. Exalted, compassionate God, grant infinite rest in your sheltering presence among the holy and the pure, to the soul of Anne, daughter of Mary and Louise, who has gone to her eternal home. Merciful One, we ask that our loved one find perfect peace in your eternal embrace. May her soul be bound up in the bond of life. May she rest in peace, and let us say, Amen. El Malei Rachamim, Shochen Bamromim, Chamsei Menucha Nechona, Tachat Kanfei Hashchina, Malot Kedoshim Uteorim, Zohar Haraki Amazhirim, Et Nishmat Chana Bat Lev Umarta Shehalcha Le'olama, Ana Bal Harachamim Astira B'Seter Knafecha Le'olamim, Vitzror Bitzor HaChayim Et Nishmata Adonai Hunachalata V'tanuach B'Shalom Al Mishkava V'nomar Amen. Say Amen. We now return this beloved body, which was such a sacred vessel for the life that it carried, to the earth from which it came, And despite the chill and the wind around us, we're reminded of the cycles of death and life, the web of mutuality of which humans are a part. We're reminded that everything that returns to the earth eventually nurtures new life. And though death itself remains mysterious, we trust that Tennie is at peace. Most of all, we know that she lives on in all of you, in her family, in your memories of her, in the stories that you've shared and that you will continue to tell and to share in the ways that she shaped you. I want to invite those who are present to take part in the actual burial by turning 3 shovelfuls of earth over into her grave. And on first taking the shovel, we acknowledge our reluctance to bury our loved one by turning the shovel backwards, just for a small bit of earth for that first shovel. So those who are able and would like, there are some shovels. And there's also here, if it's easier to use just the small shovel. And so I'm gonna just chant a little song as we're engaging in this act of Chesed Shel Emet, this final act of loving kindness, to help us just focus on what we're doing.
What?
If they'll let us, I'd check to see we fill it all in ourselves.
And I'm sure my grandmother was telling him what to do.
Where else would I be?
The dust returns to the earth as it was, and the spirit returns to God who gave it. May Teenie's soul be bound up in the bond of life eternal. Send comfort, Adonai, to those who mourn. Grant strength to those who feel great sorrow, and let us say, Amen. I'll ask you now to join me in reciting Mourner's Kaddish.
V'yom divrach rusei, v'yom lech malchusei, V'kol b'zman kariv yimru amen.
Amen. Yehei Shrei Rabba Mevarach Le'olam
Ve'omayah. Yismarach v'yishtabach v'yisbar v'yisramon v'yisnasei, v'yisadar v'yisalev v'yisalal shemin kedeshah. Tishbachasa v'nechamasa, Daviron v'yomal v'yimru amen.
Yehei Shlama Rabba Min Shemaya V'chaim Aleinu V'al Kol Yisrael
V'yimru amen.
Oseh Shalom B'Romav
V'yaseh shalom
Aleinu
v'al kol Yisrael v'yimru amen.
Amen. May the one who makes peace on high make peace for all of us, for all of your people Israel, for the whole world, and we say,
Amen.
Amen. Hamakom Yenachem Etchem Betoch Sha'ar Avei Tzion v'Yerushalayim. May you be comforted along with all of those who mourn in Zion and Jerusalem. That concludes our service.
Thank you, Rabbi. Just want to let everybody know that because of this, whole COVID thing, we didn't plan to have a lunch. But if you follow Eddie,
I'll bring it over.
okay, we have some boxed lunches with some bagels and cream cheese and some assorted treats and a little basket of chocolates because Teenie loved her chocolate. And I would just bring her a bag of Hershey's miniatures and she would just go through those in no time flat. So just a little treat that she would have loved. So and also the people here at Mt Lebanon said that it's okay if we want to just hang out here and linger a little bit and visit with each other for as long as we'd like to. So Eddie will bring it down, or we can just walk up to your car. Okay, you'll bring it down. Okay, so just that's our way of having our little luncheon, I guess. I don't know. Thank you all for coming.